Today we are talking about Scrum Master certifications. Are they worth it? Yes or no, Dunk?
No.
No, agreed. End of video. I mean, you clearly do think they're worth it because you don't become a professional Scrum trainer unless you believe that there's value in these certifications.
It's a compelling argument, yes.
Yeah. So I think they're worth it for the experience of doing them, never mind the actual certification at the end of it. The process is what I find really enjoyable.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there. The certification validates your learning, but it's actually the journey. It's actually improving your knowledge and taking on board all of that new learning and just pushing the boundaries of your understanding.
Taking a certification is it is a nerve-wracking experience for most people, and it takes us out of our comfort zone and into our stretch zone, and that's where the real learning occurs, when we're pushing ourselves a little bit more. So the process of doing these certifications makes us get better by pushing us outside of our comfort zone, I've found.
There's so much misunderstanding about what Scrum is.
One of the valuable bits of learning I got out of particularly PSM1 was learning what Scrum is, but also learning what Scrum isn't. All of this other stuff that we hear in the real world that is Scrum gets dragged into the Scrum discussions and events. Recognizing what is in the exam and what just isn't in there because it's not a core part of Scrum. That was really useful.
And I think the fact that so many organizations misunderstand what Scrum is, they don't buy into the idea of self-organizing teams, they're not getting to done, they're not organizing their work within sprints, or as you said last week, that they think that the daily Scrum is Scrum in itself. There's so much misunderstanding out there that I think that in itself validates the need for some kind of Scrum certification.
And the bottom line too, formally studying something almost always makes you better at that thing. Real world experience is great, but study is great as well. That's why we go to school.
The Scrum Master certifications just ensure that you've got a fundamental understanding of what something is, at least at that PSM1 CSM level.
Going through that process too, it is an opportunity to empirically inspect and adapt where we are in our own journey, where our learning.
Just one of our 12 subscribers did point out that I used the word empiricism at least 2 times.
I thought I'd use it today.
I know, so you picked up on that.
There's so much information out there in the Scrum Guide itself, but also in the wider Scrum community. And going through this assessment process kind of forces you to get involved in that community. Yeah. You're going to be researching stuff online, going to forums, getting involved in discussions with other Scrum Masters who've been through this process. And I learned so much that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Having those discussions with people who've got an opinion which is diametrically fucking hell, we can't speak today. What are we talking about?
Diametrically opposed,
diametrically opposed.
You might be overreaching there a bit.
There was no way that was going to happen. Okay, let's try that one again. Absolutely, having those conversations with people who've got completely different. I just knew I was going to crack up. Take three. Yeah, absolutely. Having those conversations with people who've got opposite opinions from yourself. It's so valuable, just in terms of pushing your boundaries and pushing the conversations which you're comfortable having. I mean, another way of looking at it is that there's a lot of Scrum certification bodies out there. And this is one of the criticisms of the whole Scrum industry, is it's turned into an industry producing certifications.
What's the downside of this? There must be a negative. Have you experienced any issues that the certification path has created?
Well, yeah, that's a good point. People come back from a 2-day course thinking that they know it all. They think they know everything. They are called a Scrum Master. They're a master of Scrum, and they think they've got nothing else to learn.
It definitely it raises us to conscious incompetence, in that we know what we don't know, whereas before, perhaps on some of these certifications, we didn't even know what we didn't know. But you can get overconfident sometimes, particularly at the start.
But I think it's a valid criticism.
Yeah,
if people are coming back from a course or with a certification, saying that they're now a master of something. then that is probably something which people see as a disadvantage of these certifications.
And maybe not even the person themselves. The person, they've gone on that course and is perfectly well aware of what that course does and doesn't cover, but they come back to their organization with their shiny certificate that says Scrum Master on it. That could send a message to the organization, okay, this person now knows everything about Scrum, and Scrum is going to solve all of our problems. It can put a lot of pressure on that newly certified Scrum Master, or not even newly certified. Maybe they've done their PSM2, their PSM3, they're apparently now a Scrum god. That could send a message to the organization, hey, this person's going to fix everything for us, problem solved. Okay, and what else? What other downsides have we got to certifications?
There are none.
There are none.
There are none. So do you think there's a tendency of people to get newly minted certifications and then return to their organization and start to try and lay down the law a little bit?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I think I'm probably guilty of that as much as anyone when I was in.
Sorry, I wasn't meaning to point the finger at you. We better edit that bit out. So we're probably both, this is quite a boring discussion because we're both on the same side of the fence. We both think that certifications are a good idea for technical.
But
there's no but. We just think they're a good idea. Scrum Master certifications, are they a good idea? Yes.
I'm going to use the benefit of my Scrum coaching experience now, Dunk. And what else?
Okay, I think there's a lot of interest recently about the more advanced certifications, PSM2, PSM3. And I've certainly seen during lockdown that people seem to be posting a lot more certificates online, and they're getting a lot of love on LinkedIn that people are getting PSM3s. What do we think that's about? Because PSM3 was a pretty niche certification only a couple of years ago, with only 600 people having passed that.
It seems like certification and self-improvement is something that people do when they're not working.
Yeah, in an ideal world, they'd be doing these certifications alongside doing the actual work. And I think you're right. People have taken this opportunity to do a little bit of self-improvement. But I think there's also been a lot more traction on those more advanced certifications, whereas people are seeing that the demand for Scrum is growing and that organizations are realizing that it is a demanding role of the Scrum Master. And therefore, if people are saying, well, I've got this advanced or I've got this distinguished level of Scrum Mastery, they're thinking it will actually make them stand out from the other candidates.
Yeah, exactly. Like we said earlier, having that on your CV helps, and getting jobs at the moment is becoming more and more challenging. Every little helps. So I think a lot of people are just trying to add these to their CV just to give them that slight edge over the competition. And maybe that's one of the massive benefits of certification, giving you that little edge over the competition in the job market.
Yeah, absolutely. You might be 99% identical to the other person, but if your PSM2 or PSM3 gives you an extra 1%, maybe you'll get the job because of that. So another reason that I've taken so many assessments and certifications throughout my career is that I wanted to demonstrate that I was taking my career seriously. And if you're a Scrum Master and you haven't taken any kind of certification online, when these are available to take just for $150, are employers, is it valid for them to think, well, this guy isn't taking his own career seriously, why should I?
Yeah, I think it would look really odd if a CV came in, somebody had 10 years Scrum Master experience in various roles, but no certifications. I'd find that a bit strange. That would raise red flags for me.
People are kind of pushing back against this certification industry, and they're saying, we don't need these certifications. I've got 10 years experience, or I've got 20 years of experience.
And they say certification is just a money-making exercise for the host organization.
But if you're trying to employ someone who you don't know, then those certifications just validate the sort of level of understanding that that person has. All the experience in the world is great, but you don't know if they've been doing things by the book or not. That seems a bit negative. Right, shall we try and wrap up this
Yes,
rambling?
please.
Okay, so we've got two guys in the room who strongly believe that certifications and Scrum Master certifications are definitely worth it. I think if you're starting out as a Scrum Master, then these certifications can validate your knowledge and they can give you confidence that you do understand this thing that you're doing technically correctly by the book. But also they'll give you lots of opportunities to expand your understanding and have more interesting conversations.
This has all been a lot of waffle to say if you study for something, you get better at it. Studying for certifications gets you better at that thing. And presumably, we all want to be better at the thing we do.
Why didn't you say that half an hour ago?
I only just thought of it.
Scrum chat.
Scrum chats.
Worst one ever.
Worst video ever.